everyone, it's K3 Gamer K3, and we're here today in Mumbo Jumbo's 50 Things You Can Make in Minecraft world from his video. So we're here because this very first one, the item Silo, it's got some pretty big issues. It's good in theory if we take a look at it. So you load your items in through the top, they filter down through the hoppers, and they load the bottom chest, and then they'll go up and up and up. And as they go up, they light up these indicator lights. It tells you how full your silo is. Good in theory. The problem is, when we start taking items out, it fills from the hoppers here. So it's going to keep pulling items down out of each hopper. So if we speed that along, take all these out of here, they're going to fill from this one, take all these out, they're going to fill from that one, take all these out. So, say I didn't have enough items in all the hoppers to fill this chest back up all the way. Now all of your indicator lights are out, even though these chests here are still completely full. So that is because these indicators are reading off of the hoppers themselves. So we'd have to refill, and it wouldn't take many items, just enough to fill the few we took and fill the hoppers to fix the lights. But if you're doing a lot of building, going back and forth, your indicator is going to be completely broken. And also, if you take all of these items, and you're still building, you take all these items, you're still building, you take all these items, and you work your way up and up and up. Say you got a really tall silo, you're not going to be able to reach all your items. Thankfully, there's a really easy fix for this, and I'll show you that in a creative world that looks fairly similar to this one. Alright, so we're back in a slightly different creative world, actually the same one, just cleaned out a little bit. And let's take a look at how we can fix this silo. Alright, so if we just look at the chests and hoppers from this silo, this is how it's set up. It's got just a stack of hoppers and they're all hooked up into the chest. So it does fill really nicely, just that items get stuck in these chests because they don't have any output. They're not connected to any hopper taking items down further from the chests. But that's actually really easy to do. All we have to do is zigzag our chests and our hoppers like this. So we'll see items kind of zigzag their way down, and once we take items out of the bottom, they will backfill from the other chests. And I know this one's 3 wide and that one's 2 wide, but you can actually just turn this on its side and make it a 1 wide and modular. So an item goes through the top and just zigzags down. We can actually bring this bottom chest forward a bit too. Just slide everything forward one. This hopper will still connect to the bottom of that side of the chest. And once the chest is forward, you could even turn it sideways some. And that's what I did over here. So I've got the chest on the bottom, and these are stairs so we can open this. And we got our zigzags behind it here. And that one's just that push forward a little bit there. So I've got it set up there. There's just a couple items in this third chest lighting up that light. So if we take a few, we'll see that light turn off. And if we put them back in from the top, we will see that light turn back on. Yep, there it is. The other thing I like about this design is that the comparators are mostly reading off the chest except for this bottom one, just because there's nowhere else to really connect a comparator onto that one. But the others, if we kind of take a peek in here, the comparator is reading right from the chest there, and right from the chest there, and then they come around with a repeater just in the same way that this one does. Only this one reads off the hoppers. Comparator from the hopper there, and comparator from the hopper there, kind of coming around. So, very, very similar circuitry on that one. But lights that don't break, and item storage that comes all the way down to the bottom for you, so you don't have to figure out how high of the chest you need to reach into for items, and if you're taking a lot, filling a lot, you don't have to figure out where they are. They all come nice and neatly down just to the bottom. Just make sure you put stair blocks in there so you can still get into the chest. Now if you want to keep it with this one wide design, you can make the Silo Modular. It's a little funky. These indicators are actually like a 1x2 pixel, just because it's really, really hard in Minecraft to do a 1x1 pixel screen this compact and modular. And even with the 1x2, I'm not really sure it's worth the hassle. So I've got this first one all filled with cobblestone, but actually what it's reading is this chest right here. That's what the comparator's connected to. Turns off this torch, which allows this one to come on, which actually powers the first two lamps right there. And then this next chest doesn't have any comparator hooked to it, but the next one does. And same thing, turns off that torch, which allows that one to come on, and it turns on these next two lights. So it kind of counts by twos. So once this one's full and once that one's full, it'll count 2. That one and that one, it'll count 4. So on and so forth. It just skips over this bottom one here. But it is modular. You can connect as many of these as you want. And just to show you a little bit more about how the indicators work, I have it set up where I can add just a little bit of gravel. And we'll see that light turn on. Or I can take just a little bit of wood, and we'll see that indicator turn off. So, it's doable. It's a little bit expensive, but it's not too bad, really. What I like to do is just kind of skip the indicators, just have the chests and hoppers, because it's nice and neat, modular, and super simple. Just the zigzag stacks of hoppers and chests. Without the indicators, the only way to know that they're full is to see items kind of bursting in the top chests, but it's nothing too bad. And with this, it is super modular and expandable. So this is still 1 wide, but it's got a lot more storage. You can build these out as long as you want and as tall as you want. So the item path works something like this. It comes in from the top, and it'll come down, and this hopper, even though it's feeding forward, the item will actually go down before it goes forward. So the item will come all the way down into the bottom chest, and once that's full, it'll start backing up kind of this way. Once that's all full, then the items will start moving over, and we'll see the same thing here. We'll see it fill some of these bottom hoppers, and then it'll start filling this chest and zigzagging its way back up. And so on and so forth. Now it does end up a little funny when you're taking items out and refilling, because maybe you empty this whole first one and then you start to empty the second one, but as you're refilling, it's going to fill the first one before the second one, so you have these two partials. But you know, all that's behind the scenes. Either way, you're still taking all your items out of the bottom chest and you're still loading them all into the top. You still have all that room of available storage. It'll fill back up eventually. And it's all just coming straight through the bottom, right to the bottom chest. And just a proof of concept, if we put that yellow wool on the top, it comes right out on the bottom. And if it had gotten carried all the way down our stack of hoppers, let's do a lamp this time, we will see it filter all the way down, all the way across, and it will end up in the chest as well. This is all the materials you need to build these, and this was just some of the decorative stuff that we did. The other reason I like the really big modular designs like this is because they're really, really fun to hook up into an auto sorter. If you set up an input chest at the bottom here and have a dropper stack take the item all the way up, put it through the sorter, and then they will drop the items into each of these rows, kind of set up like that or something, you can have just like a big mining spoils sorter and storage unit. It's kind of amazing everything you can fit in here and do with this. I said infinitely long, infinitely tall. I mean, as tall as the world, right? But super, super useful to have. So that's about it. We went from a broken storage to a fixed storage and still has all of its usefulness. But this simple fix right here still uses the same number of blocks as the original. Both of these have those 5.5 chests, and both of these have those 6 hoppers. No difference in cost, but everything can be nice and fixed and even nice and streamlined. So, there you have it. My name is K3Gamer K3, and I'll see you next time.